pro-liberty, pro-personal choice, pro-personal responsibility in almost every other area, but on this specific area says, no, you don't have choice.
See, I don't see the inconsistency because I see the 9-pound baby that's still within the mother as deserving some protection too, who deserves a protection. That fetus has rights because if I do harm to him, I get sued. If you have a car accident and kill a fetus, there are legal rights there. But to say that it's only the mother, it's very, very unique. If you carry your argument to all the way through, we have a right to our homes. Shouldn't we have the privacy of our homes? Do we have a right to kill the baby 1 minute after birth? No, everybody said, matter of fact, this is what happens. We can kill the baby before it's born and the doctor gets paid. 1 minute after birth, if the woman who was unfortunate enough to have this baby, if she throws the baby away, she gets arrested for a homicide. And to me, the 1 minute before birth and 1 minute after birth isn't a whole lot different. So
you understand that to a lot of people with serious religious conviction, it is. I mean, they say life begins at conception.
Life does begin at conception.
So it's a moral maze. Let's have a break. Let's come back and talk about your family, because you've got an incredible family. You've got 5 children. How many grandchildren?
18.
And how many great-grandchildren? Amazing. Let's come back and talk about your extraordinary family and your wife.
We've been on a pretty extensive tour, and my wife's been with me. And I just think that if you have respect for other people and reject the whole idea that you force people, either intimidate or, I don't like it in politics, I don't like it in interpersonal relationship. You do it my way or else. I think people get into trouble when they try to force their way on others, and certainly in a good marriage, you shouldn't be using intimidation and force to try to get along. I mean, it must be a better way.
Carol was here. What would she say your shortcomings are?
Oh, we should probably be pretty generous, and not want to talk about...
What do you think they are?
What do you think?
You're being self-critical.
Well, I can get upset, and most people don't realize that I do get upset. Unfortunately, she gets on the receiving end. Even if I get tired in the campaign, if I complain about the campaign, I usually don't go to the campaign manager. I complain to her. But I think that's been part of it. If she has a problem, if she's not feeling well, or she has something, she's allowed to come to me. So maybe part of that, a good marriage is being a sounding board for the other person.
What do you believe about discipline with children? Were you a spanker when you were young?
No, not really, but I wasn't spanked, when I was growing up, and our kids didn't get spanked. There'd be a time, you might have to give them a little tap or something, to remind them.
And do you believe parents should still have that right to give their kids a little tap?
Oh, yeah, as long as they're not, practicing severe child abuse. No, it is. But I'll tell you, I would work real hard to promote an understanding that you don't achieve a whole lot by using force and intimidation. Just like in politics, I reject the use of force, telling other countries what to do and what to do with your personal behavior and all. So raising kids would be the same way. I can remember growing up, and we had certain real strong beliefs, and I thought back, wonder when my parents ever talked to me about behavior, drinking, or anything. They never did. It was sort of through osmosis that you know what the standards are. And fortunately, we've had 5 wonderful children, and I think there must have been a little bit of osmosis there, because I certainly wasn't a lecturer on exactly what they had to do.
What were the most important values your parents instilled in you, do you think? We discussed hard work, but what else?
I think it's a hard work. They had a lot of respect for religious values. I mean, we did go to church routinely. I was raised in a Lutheran church, and confirmation in the church was a major event. When we were old enough to decide we wanted to be confirmed in the church, that became a bigger event than any birthday party or any other kind of celebration. That was pretty important.
I want to end with 2 things that happened, which in many ways sum up the very best of America. In my view, one is the Facebook situation, where you have a young kid who has a brilliant idea, and it turns into a $100 million idea, and he creates 1,000 millionaires. Is that a good thing? I mean, when you look at that, do you see any negatives, or do you think that is what the American dream, at its purest, is about?
I think it is, and I think you picked a good example, even though I don't know all the details, because he provided a service. And he didn't make money as much as he knew something that he anticipated people might like. He became wealthy because he gave a service. The consumer voted him to have this confidence. Now, there are many in society today, and so I'm sort of on the side of Occupy Wall Street when they complain about the 1%. But I separate the two. If you've made your money because you provided a service and the people bought it, and they didn't get subsidies from the government or benefits, say, from an inflationary system, and they didn't get bailouts and all these things, that to me is entirely different.
Will you ever drop out of this race, or are you here to the bitter end?
Yeah, I'll drop out if somebody gets inaugurated next January.
But nothing will stop you before the convention?
I'm not thinking in those terms because I'm thinking in campaigning where the next stop is. Where do I go this evening, and where do I sleep tonight, and how I'm going to encourage all the workers to get the vote out.
Hypothetically, if you got to a point where you did want to drop out, could you imagine endorsing another candidate? Would you do that, or are you implacably opposed to doing that just on principle?
Well, it would be a real challenge, but I think people change their minds. Some of them change their minds more easily than others. So if they change them favorably and they can convince me, I would certainly be open to that.
Ron Paul, best of luck.
Thank you.
You certainly brought a lot of energy, drive, and I can tell you one thing, we will get more reaction on Twitter and Facebook to this interview than any interview I've done with any other candidate. That is a given.
Wonderful. Thank you very much.